Hi everyone, we're waiting for others to join. While we wait, I have some music for you. Thank you for being here. All the time we don't have to give. Everything we're giving is enough. Moments fit together like a glove. All my questions and bodies. It was a good day. Not much to do but just stay around. Yeah, it was a good day. I'm so glad the sun stayed around. Yeah, it was a good day. Not much to do but just stay around. Yeah, it was a good day. I'm so glad the sun stayed around. Good morning, Izzy. Blue Chimps, I sent you an invite to be a speaker. Otherwise, you can request as well.
Hi, Gia. I'm sorry. I couldn't find the space. It went away. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Just I'm visiting my parents for the weekend down in Houston, and the East Coast is getting frozen over right now, so maybe here longer than I thought, which is okay, but it's kind of funny.
No. How cold is it?
On the East Coast, I'd have to look, but my mom was telling me it's like 0 degrees. I don't know.
Basically too cold.
Basically.
That totally makes sense. We're waiting for a few more speakers to join. Where are you based, Izzy? I don't know if
I live in the New York area,
nice.
but right now I'm in Houston visiting my parents. And my parents had some leftover hallacas, and I got to
Ooh.
have one because I didn't spend Christmas with them. I was with my partner's family over Christmas, so I think you would appreciate that.
Yeah, is your family Venezuelan?
Yep, both my parents.
What? I had no idea. I would kill for some hallacas.
Yeah, it was delicious.
Oh my god, I haven't had one in forever. Forever. Every year I say I'm gonna teach myself how to make one.
Oh, don't. You can buy them. Last year, we made them here at home, and it was such a hassle. I was like, Mom, we're buying these next time.
Yeah, I tried to make them 1 year. That's it with my family, and it was the longest process ever. And then for everyone here, hallacas are a typical Venezuelan food that you eat in Christmas. It's kind of like I don't even know. What would you
It's kind of
describe?
like a tamale, but not. Like, it's the closest thing I think to explain what it is. People might know what a tamale is, but it's different. Like, it's basically like a corn flour mixed with several different like meats and ingredients, and it's wrapped in a banana leaf. But tamale-esque type food.
Oh God. And then what are you up to this Sunday?
Um, Today I'm talking to you. I'm excited to
Nice.
be here. I'm glad I can be here for longer than like 5 minutes. I'm glad that the space earlier this week went well.
I know. I loved it. It was a great space. And then sadly, just today, Twitter is now actually allowing me to record the space. Last one would have been amazing to
Oh
to
my
record.
gosh. You are so lucky. Maybe today's my lucky day too. I'll have to see if it's starting to let me record spaces because it's so sad. It's like we have all these great conversations and advice given and questions asked, and then it's like, bye, it's gone forever. Remember it.
I know. I had no idea that it wouldn't allow. Like I thought everyone could record a space because all of the spaces I had been to, everyone was recording them. So I, announced on my community
I'm like, hey, we're having this amazing talk. No worries if you can't make it, because I was hosting them at 6 p.m. PST. So it's like 2, 3 a.m. for some people. I'm like, don't
Right.
worry, it'll be recorded. And then it wasn't.
Oh,
And it
such a
sucked.
bummer. Well, I'm happy for you. Congratulations. Today is what? Sunday, January 16th at 10 a.m. CT, 8 a.m. PST, commemorating the first day you can record a space. Just putting that documentation into the recording.
Thank you. It really feels like a blue check mark right now.
Totally.
GM Blue Chimp, how are you?
Hey, GM, how's it going? Good morning.
Good morning. Going great. How's your morning going?
It's going good. Just got up and around, having a great weekend.
That's amazing. How was your space? I know you did a space to highlight women, right?
Yeah, we did all week. We did Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We have a chimp tank little show we do on Spaces, and this week we reserved the stage for women creators and women-led teams, and I thought it was super positive. I mean, what an amazing turnout we had. I mean, it was probably some of the best shows we ever had. Every day we changed our PFP to a different artist. Worked out really, really good. You know, aped into some really cool projects this week. I got the Divine. We got a piece by an artist named Isabel. Wore her art for my PFP. So it was a super positive week. I mean, we learned a lot of crazy numbers, like some of the stats, kind of mind blowing. So, and we can get into that more on like what we're doing from here. I don't want to take too much. I don't want to take too much of your time here. I'm thankful that you're even having me up here. So, thank you so much.
Of course, and thank you for sharing that. I think the Divine, it sold out, I believe, yesterday, which is a great one. And then for everyone here, Nudie Community is actually minting in 1 hour. Their public mint, and it's also a women-led project. It's really cool. I already bought some during the pre-mint, or like the pre-sale, and already gifted some. So I definitely recommend everyone here to check them out. And yeah, GM Peck Samuel, how are you?
GM, how are you?
Good, good. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. And we all have, at least Americans have tomorrow off.
Yes. Do you have tomorrow off? Right?
Never as an entrepreneur. It's
Mm-hmm.
like as soon as I wake up, whatever day it is.
Yeah. I'm
And
I'm
in
excited to not have to work on real work tomorrow.
in the NFT and pandemic, it's like one big day.
Mm-hmm. But it's awesome. I think like at least we get to be in more spaces because that's what we
Mm-hmm.
do. You're just doing one space after the other, and you get to learn so many cool things.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's see. So we're missing a few speakers, but we can go to it for now. So let's start with you, Essie. Could you give our viewers here a little background about you and who you are?
Sure. Hey everyone, I'm Izzy or Isabella. I am one of the co-founders of the Women in NFTs Twitter channel. We also have a Discord, and it's basically a community in place for celebrating and amplifying women in the space. And I'm looking to do a lot of work in the next, couple of months, and to bring like more like resources and value to the women in the space. We're just excited to do our part for women in this space. This week in particular has been like freaking awesome for women in this space. Projects are flying off the shelves, lots of amplification, lots of sales, lots of sold out signs, all over the place. So it's super exciting that we're finally having our bigger moment, and I hope that it continues to grow.
Yes, amazing. If you guys haven't yet, guys and girls and non-binary, go check out Women in NFTs. I'm going to see if there's something to pin up, or Izzy, if there's anything you want to pin up, feel free to
Sure,
do it so others
I'll
can check it out.
look for something.
And then, so your community is for only women, people that identify as women, who can join your community?
Yeah, so women, anyone who identifies as a woman, LGBTQ plus. Our Discord right now is only open to people who identify as women and LGBTQ plus. Uh, that may change eventually, but right now, just really trying to foster that safe space for women in the community. And then our Twitter is obviously open to anyone. We have great, amazing men who support like our tweets and join spaces and things like that. So it's I have gotten a little flack sometimes on different spaces, like we shouldn't have these women's spaces, uh, like I don't that's like set, divisive. I'm like, no, like it's not. Just because it's for women doesn't mean it's anti-men. That's not the point. The point is that like historically, women haven't been like have been erased from like their contributions to society, and we just like are going to make sure that that doesn't happen this time as we build something brand new and working alongside all of the amazing women who are, you know, paving the way as well. So that's really the point, is to celebrate and create community and connect people and provide education, things like that. So no negativity. Um, just yeah. So but right now our Discord is closed though to women identifying humans and LGBTQ plus.
I love that. But having said that, their Twitter is 100% for everyone. So make sure to go support. And it's something I really like about how you set up your community is the intro channel where people introduce themselves. I like that a lot because I get to learn from others and within the community in like a very easy way. So great job on how you set up your Discord.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I love watching that channel too. It's like I think we have over 1,000 women in there right now. So it's like it's such a great place to just see like there's so much fucking great talent, and people doing the coolest stuff. And I just love watching that channel as well because it's like, oh my God, you're doing what? You're who? You work with what? It's just really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Um, and then, by the way, just to present to everyone, the NFT Babes are is going to be co-hosting. You want to give a quick introduction?
Hi everyone, how's it going? My name's Deanna. I founded this Twitter NFT Babes with my business partner Dina. She's vacationing in Breckenridge right now, so I am on the line. But here I am. I am jumped into this NFT space around end of summer, and I love it. And my goal is to make every other woman their own boss, independent on their own through NFTs, and help educate as much as I can.
Love that. I love how, I've met so many amazing women in the space, and we all want to educate and we all want to bring more women in. And I think that is such an amazing thing that we kind of have a view that's shared across all of us, even if we're not directly working together, we're still embracing each other and supporting each other. And then, yeah, were you going to add anything, Deanna?
No, I was going to just say that we met on the space the other night around women in tech, and my corporate job is a tech job, so I just love having this as a side hobby. I really enjoy tech a lot, so kind of being able to stay online and dig into something deeper as a side hobby is really like a passion of mine. So I was excited the other night when I jumped on the women in tech space and got to meet a bunch of other people who had this as a side hobby themselves, but also a tech career.
Yes, if
I
you
feel y'all on that. Day job plus NFT job, 24/7. What's up?
I know. I honestly, I'm trying to figure out the balance. So I have a desk in my room. I have a desk in the living room. And then I work as a software engineer, like all of the daytime, and which I love. I love being a software engineer. I love working for my company. It's really, I really love it. But then when I switch between, okay, now let's work on crypto tech women, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll just go to the living room to look at a different wall and a different screen.
That's funny you say that. I work in a coffee shop for my corporate job every day. And I found a new coffee shop that I tend to go to. And I use it as there's like a standing desk there. And I feel like, okay, I can go to that coffee shop to do all my NFT side hobbies.
It's all about changing the perspective, I guess. Making you feel like you're, I don't know, you're doing something different, but I guess like your surroundings, it really helps when your surroundings are different too.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm curious, does anybody want to jump up? I'm curious who just got involved in this space. Maybe somebody has been involved for so long. I love hearing other people's stories.
Yes, we'll definitely get to that. Before, let's continue our roundup with our speakers. Blue Chimp, would you want to give us some background about you?
Yeah. Hey, and again, thank you so much for having me up here. I really appreciate the invite. So Blue Chimps, we're a very small community, 350 piece collection. Essentially, our utility is to build communities. So we have a project called the Super Community. So what we do is we hold a we have a chimp, what we call chimp tank every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we have different creators throughout the space come up and pitch their project. We have them docs, take a deep dive, look under the hood in public and behind the scenes. And what happens is when they go through our entire vetting process, we bring them in to our incubator or accelerator and help them, give them seed money to start their project, help them build their discords or whatever gap they need in their project. We kind of Blue Chimps kind of fill that gap, and that's how that's what we do with our money we raised at Mint, and that's kind of what we do on a day-to-day basis. So Blue Chimps, currently we have 8 different projects in our super community. Where the projects vary from family ran operations to youth led projects, lots of different projects. But what we realize is we don't have any women led projects. Out of 8 projects, we have 0 women led. So we went back to the drawing board this week, and I think we all realized that the next boom is essentially going to be women in the space coming in. The mass adoption is going to come in, and it's going to be women. The boom in NFTs is going to be women coming in. So what we're doing is, kind of clearing the path. Last week we opened our stage to all women creators in the space. Had women in the background. We're starting to recruit some female liaisons to kind of empower them to hold spaces, to start some alpha groups with women, kind of build that entire second half that we don't have. So we've been very, very active and committed to doing this. This week has been a very eye-opening and I think very productive week in making that happen. So we're actively looking for women-led projects. We're from now on, since Women's Week was so impactful to us and to the space, we're gonna clear our Wednesday every Wednesday on our show. is going to be strictly for women-led projects. Um, and then, Mondays and Fridays are wide open too, but specifically Wednesdays, we're going to clear those days for women-led projects. So, so that's kind of what we're up to. I think, again, hearing some of the stats this week, we had Nudie Community on Monday, and she kind of broke down some stats. Very eye-opening for the chimps. We have about 20 or 30 people that meet every day at 11 a.m., kind of a roundtable board meeting, and high level, professionals in the space around the world from every corner of the earth. And like everybody's on board. It's unanimous. Like down the line, all of our people at our table are ready for this. And I think we've already got one liaison that we brought in. She was like, "Well, I can't afford a chimp. I think chimps are like a little over 3 ETH." And we're like, don't worry about it. We're just gonna give you full access to our back server here, and you're gonna come in. You can sit at the table with us, chimp or no chimp. We just want to build. You know what I'm saying? We literally want to work with you and build a women's onboarding space or a women's alpha group. Like what can we do to help you? Like, so that's what we're trying to do right now. We're trying to accomplish. And, I think the men in the space, it's important that we all kind of see the writing on the wall, that the next boom is women, and we would definitely need to clear the path, give them the stage, highlight their art, their projects, and, kind of embrace this next growth in the NFT space. And I can tell you, I'm very excited about it, and super excited that you guys have me up here. I'm actually a little nervous. I've had rooms with a couple thousand people, like no problem. And I come in here and I'm a little nervous, crypto. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And thank you for that. I love that. I really like to hear that there was a recognition of, okay, there's so many men projects that we've been, helping grow, and finding that space where you're like, okay, we need to find more women and help them come here. So I really like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the super community, the whole idea is to vet projects, kind of daisy chain them together. That way, when people come into the crypto space or into the NFT space, there's a safe place to onboard. You know, everybody's kind of on
Yes.
their own. Everybody's on their own. Doing their own research, which is like, what does that mean, right? And it's almost a guessing game sometimes. So what we want to do is make the super community a fully vetted, fully doxed, deemed safe. Like we can put our name on it. That they're good projects, and that's what we want to do is kind of create. I mean, it's really about social conditioning, teaching people how not to be scammed, how to safely onboard, and that's what we need. And we don't have any place for women to do that. So, and in regards to our super community ecosystem, so what we're looking for is, to build 2, 3, maybe 4 deals with women-led projects to bring them in. So we have a place for women to safely onboard, that we can say, yeah, that's a good community. When you join that community, you're going to have a positive experience. You're not going to get ripped off. And, there's substance in that project, right? So that's kind of what we're up to. And I think it's needed if we're going to fight the scams and onboard people safely and have them stick around. You get burned once and this and it's your first time, you're never coming back, period. So we lose so many, the NFT community as a whole lose so many people because of the scams. And really the only way to fight that is to create something big and safe that right when they come in, they hear about it and they go right to it to onboard. And that's kind of what we're trying to build.
That's amazing. Diana, is there anything you want to add to that?
No, I definitely love hearing that. I feel that people don't really have a guideline when they get started. They jump on Twitter, they don't know much about Discord, and then they're just Googling NFTs. So, kind of a place to go to for all your questions and get the answers, that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. I'll ask you some more questions, but later on. By the way, for everyone who's in this space, if you could please share the space on Twitter so we can get more people in here, I would be so grateful for that.
Yes, that'll be awesome to build the community bigger here. Maybe we can do this reoccurring.
Yes, definitely. Peg Samuel, tell us a little bit more about your background. I'm fascinated by you, and I probably
Thank
know
you.
everything about you by now, but yes, tell us.
Gosh, okay. Let's see. So I have over 2 decades in innovation technology, Web 1, Web 2, Web 3. And I currently am co-founder and head of entertainment for a project called Fear Studios. We are a female-run project, and my PFP is one of them. One of the things that we want to do in this space is not only have people have these really great PFPs in community, but also put your PFP to work. So you can earn money on it, or you can just hold it, and we think the value will go up. And we are like our niche is also fashion related. So they're my co-founders on the stage. I see she did a really good job of designing the clothes around them. And thank you for sharing the tweet. So it's our PFPs, and then above there's a tweet of them. And I think they're, of course, I'm biased, really cute. And I've been in the NFT space since 2017, and I learned about Bitcoin back in 2015. But fast forward 2017, I forgot to mention I was a professor at NYU in media relations, present and future. And I actually, open secret, NFTs were in the New York Times back in 2017 and 2018. And I went to a digital art is what it was called, mainly, like talk on a Saturday. And I had already minted crypto kitties and like bred them just to like learn. And then I had bought a couple crypto punks, and I thought of it and did moderated a lot of panels on digital art. And now it's just really cool to see with this major bull run where they're going and what's the possibilities. And also, I'm loving this run up on women's projects because the animals have had their moment, and it's time that, we have our representation.
I love that. Yes, I agree with that. It's crazy to me how there's derivatives of derivatives of derivative of derivatives. No,
Of
obviously
apes.
no hate. Yeah, no
No
hate on
hate,
on
no
this
hate,
project.
but
I just
we
think it's yeah.
I
We can
see
we
some
can
amazing profile pictures here on like the stage and in the listeners. So yes, like I think this is the moment where diversity where it's coming up, and I appreciate everything Blue Chimps is doing because um, it's we need the feminist men. We need like I'm tired of saying, hey, I'm a woman, so you should include me. It's just like just include me. Like I'm a woman in tech, and we know what we're doing, and like it's time. So if it's a trending hashtag, I'll take it.
exactly. As I said, when I joined, the tech space officially in like the workspace, a lot of people are like, well, you're a diversity hire. I'm like, well, if I was a diversity hire, I wouldn't be leading all of the products I'm building. So, take that.
I
Right?
can't
It's
believe
Like,
someone
crazy.
said that to you. That's really rude. You keep killing it. Also, I just minted a fierce. They're so
Thank
cute.
you. Share it on
And
Twitter. I want to
yeah,
see.
I'm gonna
And then
share.
I'll
She's like a
retweet and
Madonna, and I think she looks like Madonna. So I'm gonna tweet her. She's
oh,
so
thank
cute.
you. I get so excited when I see every one of them mint because I just like I always my co-founder, one of my co-founders is on here, Michelle, and I'll see them and I'll constantly send her them and I'll be like, oh my gosh, this is so cute.
Well, I keep seeing your PFP. I'm like, I need to go back. I need to like
Thank
keep
you.
like look at what they're about and everything.
Yeah,
And
there's
I
so much
personally
to
like,
it.
yeah,
But
there's a
yeah,
lot to it. Looks like y'all are doing some great things. Also, like I love fashion, clothing, all of that. So big on that side of things. So excited to see y'all
cool.
continue to do your
Thank
thing. But also these big heads, they're just so cute.
you. Right? The bobblehead.
I love the ones with the Ethereum eyes.
You know, it's such a good trait that Michelle came up with.
I love that. I have a background trait with the Ethereum logo, and I was
Hmm.
actually worried. I'm like, okay, is this okay? I was reading through the documentation they bring that they have on the website. Like, is it okay for me to use this? I think it's fine, right? um, Michelle, I'm so happy that you're here. Last time, for those of you who weren't here on Wednesday, Michelle was doing it all. She was traveling, she was on the plane, she was on the stage. Um, let's see, how are you today?
Hey, I'm great. It's great to be back here again, sitting in my apartment in Miami. It's a little bit more it's a little bit easier to focus. Although like being under that kind of pressure is pretty actually you can get to pretty good focus as well. Yeah, so just to introduce myself, I'm Michelle McCormick. I'm founder and creative director at Spears. And you guys were just talking about it. I don't really have to go into that, but we are like just to piggyback on what you guys are talking about and like the recent run on like the female projects. We are, we're really thrilled about that, obviously, because we are a female team and our avatars are women, and trans. And so this, like, and also to piggyback on what somebody else said, it's not all we are. We are,
Wait,
we're
sorry to interrupt you.
sure,
Michelle, do you hear me?
yes.
I wanted to know, is she rugging for anyone else or is it just for me?
Yeah, I was gonna text her and say, Michelle, your mic, if it's getting covered or something.
Oh, can you hear me?
We can hear you, but it like kind of goes in and out a little, like almost
Let me
like
try
if
my
it's
other headphones. Hang
a
on.
headphones, yeah.
Okay, let's try it again. I just didn't want it to miss anything else you
How's
were
that?
saying. Okay,
Can you hear
that
me?
is so much better.
Oh,
Yes, so clearly.
oh, it
Okay,
is?
perfect.
Okay.
Okay, tell us more about you.
Okay. So I'm not sure where I left off, but what I was saying is that we're really excited about the recent popularity of the female projects because obviously it benefits us, um, but also to piggyback on what somebody else was talking about is like that's not all we are. We're not just we're not only a female project. We are three business women who have been in business for over a decade at least, and working in fashion and tech. And so, while we're really excited to be able to benefit from the recent popularity in women's projects, we also try to constantly put in our messaging that we are about, helping our holders earn revenue, building a lot of utility into that's what we talk about the most really is like the utility that we can continue to build into our NFTs and our project. But at the same time, like also, letting people know that we are a female project because it's important to normalize that, I believe, to normalize successful um, women so that it doesn't even have to, someday it won't even have to be called out. It'll just be like, these are like a successful NFT drop and a successful team. But, we're on the road to that and grateful for, all of everything during the process of that, like these, the spaces and all of us getting the word out, whether it be the NFTs to mainstream in general or female and projects to the NFT community.
Love that. By the way, Izzy just saw yours. She's adorable. I love her.
Isn't she awesome?
You're
I love
Which
her.
one?
She's amazing. Have you thought of a name?
She's on the pinned tweets as well.
Oh my God, so cute, right? That's like our Madonna one.
And the red
Yeah.
lips. Oh my gosh,
It's
obsessed,
I don't know if
truly.
you, it depends on your,
So much
depends on
sass.
your age group, but that's Jean-Paul Gaultier is the designer of that outfit. This is during her Blonde Ambition tour, and he designed the cone
Mm.
one piece, and she's the one who, and Madonna's the one who,
So you're telling me I totally minted an
yeah, it's
icon.
for sure.
I'm iconic right now. It's awesome.
Amazing. And I think is this Tracy that joined us on stage with
Yes,
Women
it
in
is. Good
NFTs?
morning. Good morning.
Good morning, beautiful. How are you?
I'm good. I'm in a good mood. I got a photo shoot later today, and it's just going to be a really busy week. So, yesterday I taught a beginning NFT class at one of the tech events here in Las Vegas, and it's always great networking. So, I walk away from it with a really positive outlook, and it's just awesome.
I know I've been keeping up on Instagram, looking at the amazing events you've been hosting, in real life events in Vegas, and they look amazing.
It's crazy for the class yesterday because I'm also, I'm using the class to promote the group. I put together a collage of, I just started this on December 11th. So I put together a collage of all the times that we've gotten together over the last 4 weeks. And it's mind blowing how much stuff we've done already. So it just motivates me even more. And I love getting this women's community together here in Vegas. And then I'm looking, eventually to expand in other cities. But I figure if I start small here locally, other cities will be like, okay, how can I help? How can I get involved? So that's what I'm hoping happens. I'm looking at hopefully throwing a meetup in Denver during ETH Denver, and then probably one in LA during Edge of NFT, and then maybe definitely ones in Vegas during NFT Land. So yeah, I'm excited about all that stuff.
That sounds amazing. And then I think you fit right into the conversation here. And can you please give us a little bit of background about you and what you're doing for our listeners here?
So, as far as my own background, I'm a photographer living in Vegas. I started a company way back in the day called napkinnights.com, and it was a nightlife website where I sent photographers to all the clubs in Vegas. And at the time, there was nothing like it. And I haven't really talked about that much in the space, but that kind of has set the tone for all the people that I know here in Vegas, all the connections that I have, and then eventually um, that involved into me becoming a cage side UFC photographer. So I traveled all over the world with the UFC for many years. And then after I was done with that, I don't know how I went from action sports photography and then became a night sky photographer. But I went from the fastest photos to the slowest photos. And yeah, I mean, all of the things that I just have done in Vegas, all the networking I've done, has kind of brought me to NFTs and brought me to this point where I spent many years building communities, and I decided to build an NFT community. Again, starting here in Vegas with the intention of onboarding more women in the space. I know that a lot of people are frustrated that there's not enough women and there's not enough women selling in NFTs. And I look at it from a rational standpoint. There's not as many women selling NFTs because there's not many women in the space. So instead of complaining about it, let's do something about it. So I'm really, and I mean, maybe I'm one person and I'm only getting, a few people here and there, but I mean, it's like a snowball, right? Snowball effect. And I'm hoping that eventually that will roll downhill and, it'll become something big. But even if it doesn't, I'm having a great time and meeting a lot of people and networking. And, you know, it feels really great. It feels really awesome. And I mean, and I started, it's funny, I've been asked to speak a lot lately. So I spoke on Wednesday and I created a presentation called Why Solana for NFTs, why mint on Solana. And then yesterday I did a very basic NFT class, basics of NFTs, because I think I'll probably teach that at least once a month because there's so many people out there that just don't even understand the basics. So at least if I can get that out there, yeah, I'm hoping that I help move the needle, and I hope everybody else, I know you guys are all doing your part, but I hope other people jump on and work on doing their part. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm about and where I come from and so on and so forth. And I appreciate you having me up here and hosting these spaces.
I love that mission. I would love to share your future spaces with my Discord community since we are really focused on educating. So I'll follow your Twitter, and anytime you post a space, I'll make sure I share it within.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I
Yes.
just followed you too.
I love what you're doing, and your meetups look so fun. I have so much FOMO all the time because I'm in LA. I'm actually starting to get groups together here to meet up just because I want to expand my network. I want to meet more ladies. I need
I
my
can help
feminine
organize.
energy.
LA is only 4 hours, so I can help organize. And I've got a lot of contacts down in LA too, so we can definitely try and put something together as, extended whatever. And especially because we have a lot of people that have been jumping on board from all over the country. So if you ever want to do something, let me know.
Oh, I'm still down. I'm your LA partner. It's recorded forever. I'm
Okay,
done.
sounds good. Yeah, let's do it.
And then moving on to some questions about community. So thank you so much for everyone who introduced yourself. And then I'm gonna start with Issy. So Issy, what inspired you to build a community, and what has that process been like?
Yeah, so for me, it was um, a little bit of a random organic process. So I joined or started learning and, you know, jumped off the deep end and into the rabbit hole of NFTs like June, July of last year. And I mean, this space has come a long way, even in what seems like a short time in terms of supporting women and talking about like amplifying women and onboarding more women. Since then, at that time, there was like no women communities. I think WoW was the only one that had like really come out, um, full guns blazing and making a big splash. But a tweet went out, it's like we need more women in this space. And I was kind of newer and naively was like, oh, should we hold a women in NFT spaces? Not even knowing like if I could host, like I didn't know that you could like only host a space if like your profile let you. And one of my friends was like, can you even host a space? I'm like, oh shit. Uh, I just told all these people I would host a women in NFT space. I don't even know if I can. Weirdly, my profile could, even though I had like no followers. And so it was like really quick after that, like me responding to that tweet. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, we need this, would love this. And I was like, oh wow, like this does not exist. So I quickly started Women in NFTs Twitter. I started a Discord, and sure enough, we started like with our first space. Back then, we did a wine Wednesday or bring your own beverage, whatever you like to drink Wednesday. I'm a sucker for alliterations. So yeah, so it kind of started like that, and honestly, like the past half was like really organic, like and I'm still learning, but it was obviously much newer then. It was kind of like meeting a lot of people and trying to like grow the community and see like what was the need, and then like thankfully seeing so many more like women communities pop up, so many more women projects popping up, so many conversations around like the importance of equality and needing to amplify women in this space and bring on more. Like I mean, it's night and day, I feel like, even from July last year to now on like how the conversations are and the support, like how much higher the support is now, or awareness rather, too, that like it's a necessity to be aware of, right? So it was very organic. So last half was like really organic, just kind of hosting spaces, building the Discord community, posting on Twitter, amplifying women, and I feel like based on that, I feel like I've learned a lot on like what I want to add value through women in NFTs. That made no sense, that sentence. What kind of value we want to add through women in NFTs into the community. I think women in NFTs is like a very like that's very broad. I could never define a woman in NFTs if I tried. We are not all the same. We are all very different. So how do I create a space that feels welcoming to all different sorts of people, while still adding value to all different sorts of people? So really trying to figure that out. And I want to also kind of become a space where it's um, like amplifying all of the different communities, like a centralized place. Like you'll see our Twitter, like I'm constantly tweeting out as many women-led spaces or educational spaces that I like find. Like I try to make sure that it's like so and so is hosting this space, so they know that it's not like our channel owns it, but I want people to be aware that it's happening should they want to join, right? Because there's like so many things going on, and I want to make sure that there's awareness. So things that I'm trying to build this year are like a website where we can kind of create sort of these centralized resources of like women artists, let's say women communities, educational resources that people have already built that we can like lead them to, kind of be like this sort of launch pad for like new folks in the space, or creating events where like I'm working a lot on planning things for Women's History Month coming up here in March and International Women's Day, and doing partnerships to bring like some really cool programming to women in this space. Also, like not really just amplifying artists, but giving artists and collectors and women in the space tools to be able to build themselves, like the power of storytelling, building confidence, things like that. So yeah, just like super excited to like, and if anyone wants to partner or talk, like I'm all ears. Like I think the more we collaborate together, the more goodness that can come out of it. You know, there's been people who are like, well, are you worried about like these other women's spaces popping up? I'm like, no, like I want more. I want more to be out there. And like I said earlier, like I couldn't even define a woman in NFTs if I wanted to. Like we're broad in nature because for that reason, right? But like that's why all these different ones exist, because like we are all different. Like while we can, celebrate and amplify all women here, like they might find other people might find their niches or their tribes, and like I want people to do that because I know how exciting and rewarding that can be too. So anyways, I'm just like super excited. Like last year was like really organic and like learning, and this year I'm being like my goals are to just be like way more intentional about building and really like providing as much value as I can, like to the community through valuable programming, educational moments, and also just like trying to create like more events and foster deeper connections with people. So like the Twitter is obviously, more public, but our Discord, like we're looking to do events that like okay, like when you hear we have like 1,000 women in the space, I'm like, I don't want it to become overwhelming, right? So like we're trying to create pockets of like maybe smaller room moments where people can actually meet each other and like talk about their ideas and really foster those deeper connections. So really looking to do that through our Discord this year as well. So again, super excited to like I'm like it's like overwhelming sometimes because it's like I just started being better about like writing down my ideas this year, and I'm like, oh my god, it's too many ideas. But yeah, so that's really been the trajectory of women in NFTs this year is all about like being more intentional and building some more like concrete resources that people can look to as they start out in the space and beyond, and fostering deeper connections with each other. And of course, amplifying all the good shit going on in this space for women.
Yeah, no, I love that. Everything you said. There's so much truth to everything. Writing down your ideas is a big one. I promise you, when you wake up, you're not gonna remember. Whatever came to your brain and you said, I will do this in the morning, you're not gonna remember.
Oh, totally. I mean, like my memory, I swear to God, I'm like, oh my God, I'm I'm scared for me. My memory is going. I'm too young for this. No, but yeah, trying to be better about that and writing down my goals, and then also just like really making a bigger effort to like connect with people and all this and foster collaborations, 'cause I just think that it, makes things that much stronger. So like I said, I'm doing a lot to try to program and Women's History Month coming up in March. So if anyone's doing anything for Women's History Month, I'm trying to create a centralized resource where I can just like we can send people to essentially like these are all of the things happening for Women's History Month in the space, whether women in NFTs owns it or not. I would like to feature it so that it's just like easier for people to find it. So hit me up if you have anything going on or plans coming up. And if not, if you want to do something in collaboration with, totally all ears and would love to connect.
Yeah, I was gonna say, any way that Crypto Tech Women can partner with you, that would be amazing. I think we have, a very similar mission as more women projects do, where we want to empower and educate our members. So yes, we'd love to talk more about that later. And then, so Blue Chimp, tell us like where does this idea of the chimp tank came from? Let's see, Blue Chimp, are you there?
Sorry about
Oh,
that.
there you go.
I'm mute. What was the question?
Yes, where the idea from the chimp tank came from? What made you want to build this whole thing?
So the chimp tank, like, when we first launched the Blue Chimps, we set out to build community. Um, Essentially, we, kind of how do we get there, right? So this deep vetting on projects, making sure they're safe. So, we hold the chimp tank and we kind of dive under the hood, look at the projects. We, dox the team, get to know the creators, learn about what they're doing. And excuse me, sorry about that. I was fixing something in the garage. But anyways, yeah. So we kind of we open up the stage, for creators, small creators, family operations, projects that don't have enormous budgets that kind of hit a block wall when they're creating in the space. So, building the community of, super safe projects for people to onboard into at, different price points. Some of the projects in the super community, are 0.02, 0.03, all the way to 3, something for everybody. And, investing in youth, investing in small creators. And kind of that was the idea of building the super community. Our initial launch, our initial roadmap was literally to build a community. Like that is literally our utility is building a super community. So, the idea is to have 20 or 30 communities all linked into one big super community. So, as we socially condition people coming into the space new to NFTs, that we can onboard them into one of these projects. The Blue Chimps put their name on these projects, and we can, comfortably say, you join Minting Miracles, or you join Chronic Cats, or Bad Baby Dino or Pixelsaurus. We know that when we send you to those communities, that you'll be safe, you'll have a good experience. There's a really good utility there, and when you're ready to collect more, there's other partners in the ecosystem or the daisy chain of projects, and we're looking for projects like the Bad Baby Dinos that are family friendly, safe for kids, safe for women and men to the entire family to everybody can kind of participate. Same with like Pixelsaurus, family friendly projects, father and son. But again, one thing that we're a big gap that we're looking for, a big giant void is women led projects. Kind of what you're doing here is making a safe place for women to come in and feel comfortable and express themselves and be artists and professionals. So that's what we want to do. I mean, I think we all see the boom in the women-led projects, and I don't think that's just by chance. I really feel like the next boom in NFTs is going to be actually women in the world actually onboarding, catching on in a big way. I think 2022 is going to be the year of the woman. And as a blue chimp and you see a lot of blue chimps in the room. We meet every day at 11 a.m. And do business. We have a round table, and I think it's unanimous. Everybody agrees. So, as good stewards of the space, what we're doing is just clearing the path. Like you're a woman, you're a creator, you're leading a team. You're a professional. Stage is yours. Like, come up on. We're gonna pull you right up. Give you the open floor. We're gonna do whatever we can to empower you. Because as a husband of an alpha wife, I know how powerful women are. And I know how powerful it is when women support you as a man. So it goes both ways. When men can support women to be ultra successful in life, and women can support men to be ultra successful. So I don't even know why we're even talking about this. Like, we all know the power. Like, I don't even know how this happened, this bottleneck, but it needs to just open up and open the floodgates. Like, let's go. You know what I'm saying? So hope I'm not rambling. sorry,
No, I
No,
love
crypto.
you're
that. I think
fine.
you're very inspiring to all the females on here.
Yeah, 100%. And I totally agree with that. And usually Wednesday space I host at 8 a.m. PST, it's only women. But I obviously see the value of having, as Peg Samuel called it, feminist men on the table that support women and that support the vision, because the space is largely made by men, and we will not get anywhere without the support of the men. That is a fact. And I'm actually really, really grateful of the men that pop into my Twitter. I don't even know what they call it here, DMs maybe, into the DMs in Twitter. And I've had a lot of men that are like, hey, I have a community. I don't have a lot of women, but I would love to, do a cross giveaway with your project. And I don't have a lot of women, but I do have men that will support. And I think that's what it's all about. I don't need you to, be this person who's probably pushing my project to the max because you think you have so many women that will follow. Like, it's okay if you just have men, but you think the men in your community are supportive of women, and that is okay. That's good enough. I think we just need more support, and I think we deserve it too. I think there's a lot of projects that it doesn't matter if they're women or not. The things they're doing are amazing to anyone. Just because a PFP is a woman, it doesn't mean that the utilities are only for women. Um, so thank you for, highlighting women in your spaces, and I can't wait to see all the amazing female-led projects that will come out of your tank. And then let's see. So who's next? I think we have Peg Samuel next. Tell us about this fashion, Peg or Mitchell,
Yeah.
this fashion house and how it came to be.
So I'm going to let Michelle tell the origin story, but back to the question on building community. I look at it as we're building community, not customers. I'll bet, there's a buy-in to to being part of these projects. Both Michelle and I have built community before Web3 in the Web2 environment. Actually, my Twitter handle is @SocialDiva, and originally that I built. Originally, this was a website, and I was talking about fun things to do around various cities, and we were hosting events. And so we were talking about cool things. We were hosting events. This is before social media. It was about the community. Yet, being a woman in tech, there was also an advertising component to it. However, the community piece and seeing people's faces and getting to have parties and meeting everybody was such amazing energy. And if I was to like link it up like to even the early crypto days, hearing people being so excited about this technology and where it could go, and being at those networky, events that were really community, right? So we go to all these different crypto events and talk to each other about the possibilities. And now here we are in the NFT space, still in a pandemic, if you will, and at home. And we are able to, through social media and Twitter Spaces, Clubhouse Voices, like being able to connect, create, share, and also call things out in terms of diversity and things like that. So I think it's really interesting that it's like, again, not customers, but community within this. So we try to think about it fierce, like, what can we offer? Like, we love in our Discord, it's like not a huge number yet because we really grew organically, but the conversation, the sentiment is something that we really strive for, something, positive.
Yeah, and something I realized, which is something I learned as time has gone. I think in the beginning, before I was really a part of the Web3 community and I was more of an spectator, I would listen to all of this numbers. So whenever they talk about community in a lot of Instagram pages, a lot of articles, a lot of podcasts, they will measure the power of the community for a project based in numbers. And
Mm-hmm.
something I've learned is that you can have 10,000 members, but it's all about the engagement. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a false narrative that has been pushed where you need thousands of members to be successful, and that is simply not true. It's all about the engagement you create with your community.
Absolutely. I learned that when I was working in like Web2 early on in Twitter. Funny use case. So I used to work at with a company as a consultant that did celebrity tweets, and this is before this is Kardashians, but before the Jenners were who they are now. And the Jenners and Scott's tweets would actually get more engagement because there was less people, but they'd get more engagement. And then the other piece about sentiment I learned from working on the Grammys. Albeit we had like huge numbers and that was part of the goal. The real micro goal on top of that goal is that the sentiment for the Grammys and the artists and everything was positive. So that's why I feel really good in women in NFTs. The sentiment is is amazing, and the inclusivity and the diversity and all these things are, going to change things for generations to come. Like, this is one of those years that diversity is so coming in so hot and strong that not just women, trans, black, white, green, purple, like everything coming together in technology. And, there's still the tech bros. They are still, up there. But if they can be inclusive and feminist, we can start to bridge that gap.
Yeah, I completely agree. Michelle, do you want to talk about your experience building community? Maybe you have a different take on it, or something that you would like to highlight.
Sure, I do. So like as Peg said, I actually built a community when I was living in Boston a few years ago called Secret Boston, and it grew to be like one of the most influential communities in Boston, and it actually still is. Even though I live in New York, it actually is still going very strong. There's like 200,000 people. It's across all social media. And so I built that really organically, like literally. I started it on a Facebook page before you could even advertise on those pages. So it was like 2011, and I just, basically what I did is I focused on very niche things. I wanted it to be about fashion, music, and like street art, stuff that I was into at the time. And I never veered from that. And in building this community, I learned, like, it was never a money maker for me. I mean, it kind of does make money, but I never thought about monetizing it. I was doing it more because I was working in advertising, and I was missing living in New York, and I just wanted to find something sort of New Yorky in Boston. And so I created this. And so because I had the luxury of not needing to monetize it, I just grew it to be like very organic. And what happens when you do that? After a while, the community starts running itself. And while I had to stay in there and keep the sort of the ship going in the right direction, especially when it came to like negativity and trolling and stuff like that. Like there had to be some guardrails, but a lot of times the community, almost always actually, will come and do it for you, as long as you set the message from the very beginning that this is about like cool stuff, which I did. My messaging was always that, like, if you join this community, it's no negativity, no politics, cool things. You'll get banned immediately, like very clear about what we were about and what we would accept and what we wouldn't accept. And by doing so, people that really love the community felt safe there. They also felt like they knew what they were getting. Consistency is so important. Like we would never, like we had a lot of people would reach out to us and be like, "Hey, can you post like this, fundraiser for Afghanistan and da da da?" And we were like, "No." And it's not because we weren't against politics or fundraising. It was because that was not where, like, there were a lot of places on Facebook to do that or on Instagram to do that, and we weren't the place. And if we had done it, it would have weakened the community. And so we were able to actually, add back and benefit in other ways in Boston. We would like, host events for like these fundraisers, causes, where the cause would like rent out a space and Secret Boston would go to it and support it that way. But it was within the brand of being like fun, it was like young people, very like millennial. And so it just kept the community really strong, and it's still that way today. And do so because so I'm what I'm doing now is it's attempting to, in doing so, like create using this method in our Discord and across our community building. And it's actually not a method, honestly. I think this is the rules of engagement, of community building in general, whether it be like a huge organization or a group of friends. Everyone loves consistency. Everyone loves to, if you're a group of friends that love to fist fight, then I guess that's what you want to do too. So like you keep doing that. And so there's a lot of power with the community builders. And once you get successful, it's important to stay that way. And you have a big responsibility, but if you don't continue doing that, it'll fall apart anyway.
Yeah, I think you just mentioned a very important aspect of community, and it's definitely being consistent is adding value to your community, making it a safe space for everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Consistency. And people want to feel good about, and like I said, what I first started saying was like the community starts running itself, which is really great because it's a lot of responsibility to constantly being having to create content to keep the conversation going. But once you build enough people that actually love this conversation, they'll keep it going for you.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. Deanna, do you want to add anything to all the wonderful thing our panel has expressed so far?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a fine line between pushing projects and building a community. You want, like you mentioned, you want this to be a safe space. You want people to come here. This is our side hobby. We want to build that community. We want to make the friends who have this same interest. And a lot of people are also launching projects. So what I feel is, I don't want to over push a project in different spaces. I really want to grow the community and have people come check in every day and tell us what's good about their day, what's bad about their day, and how we can help them out. So I find it's a very fine line. But I, like you said, I think once you get that conversation going and building the basics of that community, it's a free flowing conversation.
Yes, 100%. And I think that's what everyone building community is striving for. It's more about pu finding the pieces of the puzzle to get there. And this is a great place to start, listening to the stories of people that are building community and are doing it in an amazing way. Um, Before we go to Tracy, everyone here, if you can please share the space, share the love. I would be so grateful for that. Tracy, tell us about your experience building community. I think you have a very amazing take to it because you're not only building a Web3 community with Discord in your server and your Twitter, you're also doing in real life. And I think that's something I want to hear about more.
Oh, did you want me to speak again? Yeah, I'd love to.
Yes, tell us more
Uh,
about your experience building the community so far.
okay, so it's been 4 weeks, and I would tell you actually, this is kind of a funny experience. In the 4 weeks that, or month that we've been doing this, um, it it's been really cool to find people that are like-minded here in my local community that want to get together, that want to learn, and that want to be a part. But the funny thing that I'm experiencing is that it's really easy to put out an event and put out, a get together or meet up or class or whatever, and the guys will respond without, like, they respond digitally without having to be told. They'll see the event and so on and so forth, and they'll respond in RSVP. But all the women, I actually have to reach out to them individually and personally. So that's been kind of interesting because I guess I'm always more the guy type person where it's just like I check out events and I look and I RSVP and there's no hesitation. But it's interesting to see that it is a little bit different on the women's side of things. So I actually have to um, reach out to a lot of them. Hey, just so you know, this is going on, and I don't know what that is yet. I haven't decided what that is. Are a lot of women paying less attention to Discord, or are the people in my particular community less paying attention to Discord and Twitter and calendars and so on and so forth? But I don't know. I haven't figured that out. So when I do figure that out, I will definitely let you know. But
I can help
either
you with that one.
sure.
I will, I can't speak for all the women out there, but I can speak for myself. I last month I think I went to a meetup here in LA, with this housing, their lunch house, and they also it's like an incubator house, super cool. A friend was speaking, he invited me, and I spent 40 minutes in the car before I could even step out because I was so nervous that my friend's speaking, I don't know anyone, and I was just so nervous. I spent 40 minutes in the car before I could even, get the courage to go in there and meet people that I don't know. And it was a little bit scary because I'm like, okay, I don't know who I'm gonna meet. I love what I'm doing, but I'm a little bit shy in that way. And I had three friends call to give me the courage and do a pep talk for me to even get out of the car and get into that house. And then once I was there, it was great. I met so many people. But even while being there, there were moments that I'm like, okay, this is a lot. I feel a little bit, overwhelmed. And I would just go to the bathroom and take a minute and take a breather. And I think a lot of women also struggle with that part where you are included and you are invited, but it's overwhelming at the same time. I think that might be like one take of it.
I'm
Yeah,
so
I'm
happy that you shared that because I had somebody on another space mention that they were afraid to kind of speak and introduce themselves and message me on the side about that. And, my response right away was, don't worry, little bits at a time and we'll get you to feel comfortable. But I don't think a lot of women here vocalize that, we are a little shy. We don't know everything just yet about NFTs. So maybe that's why people are afraid to come forward or just have that little bit of insecurity. But with these types of spaces and these types of communities that we're vocalizing are out there, I hope that anybody shy or not sure if they have all that knowledge sees us all as an outlet to ask the questions and, gain that little bit of confidence little bits at a time.
I never took anything about that into consideration because I will be the first to admit I am the probably one of the least shy people I know. And I mean, definitely, it's definitely not my favorite situation going into a place where I don't know anybody. But I will say that with NFT stuff, even more now than ever. Like if I know there's an NFT event going on, of course I want company, but if I don't have company, I'm still going. So I don't have that shyness and I don't have, that hesitation. So it probably didn't even occur to me that that could be why. So I think that perhaps the personal touch of me reaching out probably maybe encourages them to be like, oh, well, she actually wants me here specifically. So maybe that has to do with it. But yeah, it, we're like I said, we're brand new. We have maybe about 200 on the Discord. Of that 200 on the Discord, it's not all, Vegas people. It's people from all over the world, I think. Yeah, no, I know actually. And it's like a lot of the complaints I hear is that why are we only in Vegas and can we do meetups in other places? So, like I said, I'm planning on trying to do something for Eat Denver. I don't know what yet. I reached out to a couple different venues or galleries or whatever, and we'll see. We'll see what I come up with. Maybe we'll just have a meetup over dinner. Who knows? But that's one thing that I'm trying to do. And I want it. I want people to be jealous of what we're doing here in Vegas so that A, they either come to Vegas and visit us, or B, they want to get involved in hopefully teaching in their own cities and making in real life events in their own cities. And, if I can help create a template for that and help encourage, or if I could even, I'm not anti showing up. I'm not anti, helping put it together and being there to help organize it because I'm I'm like I said, I'm not shy and I'm an organizer. Like as far as like getting people together and building communities. So um, a lot of people, and I didn't even realize this about certain friends of mine, is just like I had a friend who came out here for her birthday last weekend, and I was shocked at some. She had a very small get together, and some of her closest friends she didn't even invite out, and I was all, well, why didn't you invite them out? She said, oh, well, they're probably busy, and probably this, and probably that, and she didn't plan the whole thing the best way that she could, and she's like, me, I'm not a good organizer, and I'm like, God, it's so crazy because I think when we're like things come easily to us, we don't take into consideration that they can come harder. They are harder for other people. So, like I said, walking into a venue where there's strangers, it's like I said, it's not the easiest thing, but it's not hard for me at all, and I don't hesitate. So, same thing with throwing events and getting involved with stuff. If I decide that I'm going to do something, I just do it. So, and I don't take into consideration that's a lot harder for other people. So, like I said, if I can help other people, you know, uh, build up in real life events or give advice on that, or do it as part of Women X NFT in other cities or whatever, I'm open to that. And that's it's been a really really cool pleasure. And like I said, when I put that collage together yesterday of all the photos, to look at that and see all of those times that our group, or members of our group have gotten together in the last month is just, to me, it's mind blowing. And it just, I feel like it's just a indicative of where that this can go and how big that this can get for, people everywhere, women everywhere across the country and across the world. So, yeah, no, and I'm always stoked to be in these spaces, and I appreciate you bringing me on stage and letting me speak and letting me talk about what I'm trying to do with my movement. It's funny. It's like I spend more time in spaces on this account, and I feel like my own art and my own photography kind of suffers at that, but I see a bigger picture, and I really like. I like where I'm going with things right now in the NFT space, so I'm okay with it. So thank you again.
Feel, feel free to share to the pinned posts here your photography, because I also think you have amazing photography and you should be showing it off to everyone. So
Oh,
feel
thank
free
you very
to
much.
pin it.
I'll post that. Hold on a sec.
And yes, I definitely think you should keep DMing those ladies. I know that I'm one that if you DM me, and you make me feel like you want me to be there, even if maybe your attention can't be on me. I think that would help me feel a little bit more confident to show up. Even if I really want to show up, maybe that's the last push that someone needs to actually be there. So I think that's a great thing that you can do.
And
I
it
have
totally makes sense now that you put it in that perspective. So I appreciate that. And I pinned my photos above. So thank you for allowing me to do that.
I have one thing also, like, I know it can be nerve-wracking to go to events by yourself, but I think we're still really early in the NFT community is like still very small. So if you really think about it, like hardly anyone's like rolling deep with a squad to these events. And so more often than not, like you can think of it this way, it's like you're you're like one of the many people showing up by yourself. I don't know. I personally find that comforting where it's like, okay, like I'm not the only one kind of like putting myself out there or like showing up not knowing friggin' anybody. And then in addition, I think like in a traditional, industry, it's kind of like if you don't know, then you don't know enough about it, whatever it is that you're attending or talking to people about that, like, then it's like you don't belong. But here, what's really cool is that, like, you don't need prerequisites. You don't need this, like, official training or, certificates or whatever it might be to be here. Like, literally everyone is learning, and anyone who markets themselves as like the expert, like, just go away from them because they're not. Like, everyone's learning. Some people may know a little bit more than others, but like, the people you want to be around are the people who aren't claiming to know everything. You want to be around the people who are curious and asking questions and continuing to like deepen their knowledge that like you can also learn from and they can also learn from you, because even if you like are brand new and this is your like first thing that you're ever attending in real life and like literally all you know is that NFTs equals non-fungible tokens and you're still like maybe that's the only thing you know, an outsider's perspective and a net new perspective is actually incredibly valuable. Like, I think that, like, especially like even when I was new to the space, and every time I meet new people or anytime I hang out with friends who aren't into NFTs yet, I call them all my IRL normie friend hangouts, onboarding sessions. Always gets there. But you know, they start poking holes in like what's existing and like what's being built, and that's necessary to continue building something amazing and great and brand new ideas and things like that. So anyways, those are things I always like to think that like bring me comfort when I'm like going into a space where it's like maybe I'm showing up by myself or something like that, is that like hardly anyone that at least I know has like IRL rolling deep squad that they just show up to NFT events too with, right? Like we're all over the world and I have tons of, friends here on Twitter and things like that, but like, we're all kind of scattered all over the place. So just take without what you will. Also, your photography is really amazing, Tracy.
Wow, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And you are correct. The thing that we've been doing actually here, and I think that possibly is why a bunch of girls are showing up, is because we are going to events that aren't necessarily ours. And they're all like, okay, here we go. We're meeting here. This is when we're going. So maybe that's you know, part of why a lot of them are showing up is because, okay, now I'm going to this in real life event and I know that people that I'm already comfortable with will be there. They may be brand new friends, but they will be there and I can walk in and I have someone to stand next to and talk to and
Totally.
feel comfortable with. So I get that. That makes sense.
Yeah, and I was gonna add that my experience is not limited only for women. And as you mentioned, once I was at that event, I actually met other girls that were as nervous as I was. And they were super cool. But actually, I met guys that were in the same situation where they're like super cool guys, and they were being, a little bit awkward, and they're like, yeah, I just brought my friend, he doesn't even like NFTs, he doesn't know anything about it, but like they wanted someone there for support, which made me feel, a little bit better. I'm like, okay, so this is not limited to my experience. And it was like a really cute thing to see that guys were bringing, their support system with them. So that's also something that, if you're in this situation, someone, you could also do, just bring someone with, and maybe that's it, maybe you're going to be the reason why they join the Web3 space. And I hope you are. I hope you're the reason why your Web2 friend joins the Web3 space. We have to lead by example. And if we want more people to join, we have to trigger that movement. We have to be advocates of the space, and we have to be advocates of all the amazing things that you can accomplish in this space. Um, and we have Winks here. So I see you have your hand up. Tell us, do you have any question or something you would like to add? Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much for accepting my request to speak. So I just wanted to jump in on what Women NFT was saying earlier, and then so I'm just making sure I get the names right. Izzy pretty much covered everything I wanted to say about about why people might be hesitant showing up, etc., etc. So I just have one little thing left to add. First, I just wanted to say to Women in NFTs, it sounds like you've made such a nice community, and the fact that you reach out one-on-one is just such a big thing. Like, I haven't noticed anyone else doing that sort of thing, and I think that's just amazing. I can only imagine how much that means to the people that you're reaching out to. So I just wanted to really commend you on that. But to the question why some people might not show up, like, that's pretty much been covered. But I also think that, I don't want to speak for all women, but I think a lot of women do struggle with Discord, especially if they're newly onboarded into the space. They haven't used that application before, and I know it can be super overwhelming. So I think that's something that's being missed a little bit now. I think we really need to teach people how to use Discord, because sometimes it's just overwhelming and they're not even really aware of what's going on, or it's just too much to try and keep up with what's happening, and they want to be involved, but the overwhelm of it all is just too much to keep up, and then to attend things, and it just becomes too much, like everyone's been saying.
Absolutely great feedback, because you're right. I hate Discord. I take it with a grain of salt, though, and I probably don't take into consideration that the difficulty that Discord is. And I maybe I'll do either I have plans to do excuse me, to do a security class, like security and scams, and that covers Discord. I'll either add it to that class, or else I'll just do a Discord class separately. It just doing these classes is again a great way to build community, but it's also helping educate and move people forward in this space. So um, great call. I hadn't thought about doing a Discord class, and now that's something that I will do.
Honestly, if you want any help with that, feel free to reach out, because I love Discord. I've been using it for years, so it took me a little while to realize that it is a barrier to a lot of people, because I'm obsessed with it. I live in there constantly. So if you need any help, feel free to reach out.
Thank you so much. Were you by any chance at the Fame Lady party in New York?
I wasn't, but I will be at that this year.
It was a great event. It was probably one of my more favorite parties of the entire week, and that's because instead of being a rager party, like a lot of them, going to a nightclub and you can't talk and you can't see anyone and you can't network, that was held in a very cool little bar with that. It had an upstairs little area that was separate from the rest of the bar, and they brought out tons of food, and just you could sit there and network. And again, like I say, here in Vegas, it's not limited to only women. Men are invited, and so instead of getting, at a lot of meetups where it's 90% men and 10% women, by having it be a women's event and then men are invited, it ends up being about 50-50, which I think is just such a much more pleasant experience, especially. And I think that's also another thing that the women are starting to realize here in Las Vegas, that are coming to the events. They're not uncomfortable. That's another reason probably women don't want to come, is because there's so many guys. And a lot of times they feel like, oh, if it's at a bar, they're going to get drunk and hit on me and make me feel uncomfortable in that way too. So, um, yeah, no, that event was great, and I was very happy that I made the effort to go there. And I met Becky there, and I met a bunch of the other team, and then the Boring Stone team was there as well. So it was great.
Thank you
Trace.
so much for that feedback, because I felt the same. I had huge FOMO for that whole event, but then when I was seeing all the rager parties, that's just not my vibe. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, maybe I'm not so sad about missing out on this stuff. So thank you for that feedback. That I'll let the team know that that was definitely a bonus.
Yeah,
Um,
and I mean, and I when I say Rager Party is, I mean there was plenty of great networking events too. So that just was one of my favorites, I think, of the week. But I mean, there was gallery openings, and there. I mean, so don't let what I just said scare you from, events at NFT NYC or even Art Basel, because you can pick and choose what you go to. But yeah, a lot of the bigger events were definitely at nightclubs with massive DJs that make it really hard to network if that's what you're about.
yeah, I'm glad. Thank you for pointing that out, because what I was seeing like posted on Twitter and stuff was just all the DJ parties and not a lot of the other stuff. And the other stuff is what I'm into.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, so I sadly did not go to Art Basel. I had to make a choice between Art Basel, and G Money was hosting a space in Puerto Rico, which was amazing. Amazing. Props to him. He did an amazing conference in Puerto Rico, first of its kind there. Um, and there, you had the aspect where you get to network, and then you have all the parties. And as I was going to different events, I kept bumping into the same people that are part of the crypto world. And I was networking with the men because 98% were men, and I was talking about the conference, and they said, "Oh, I normally don't go to the conference. Or maybe I just go to listen to someone, but the real networking happens at the parties." So that's what a guy told me, and I was laughing, and I told him, "Well, I think as a man, your networking happens at the parties. For me, what happens at the parties is that I get hit on." And they were laughing, and they're like, I guess, they're like, are you sure? I'm like, yes. I'm like, I don't think, a guy has a few drinks. It doesn't have to be all guys, but most men have a few drinks, and then next thing you know, they're asking about your project because they want to hit on you. So I think I love to hear that other women, also want to enjoy the networking, not at the parties, because I don't think that's been my experience. And I have met some men that I've done networking with at the parties, but they don't drink. They're sober, so it was easier to talk. But also, who talks at a nightclub? I don't know. That's my take on it. I'm not sure if anyone else in the panel has had a similar experience, or maybe has had the opposite experience, where maybe you don't get hit on at the club, and you're like, it's the best place to network. Um,
I have feedback on that, but there looks like a lot of people with their hands up, so I'll wait.
Yeah, I just use it to my advantage and just like send them right straight to my art. And it's like, if you F with my art, maybe I'll probably respond back. But just use it to your advantage. But I like the events where am I getting red? Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you. Okay, now you're muted. Okay, maybe she is getting rugged. I think Twitter is really bad right now because a
She
lot of
sounded
people
like
are
she was
getting rugged.
starting to get rugged.
Oh
Yeah,
my God, the
same.
rugs are real today. Oh my God.
Okay, sick. Yeah, but I like.
Um, I was just,
Okay, now
oh, we can hear you now.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Damn, now we can't hear you.
I know this is bad. It's
Oh,
go ahead.
I was just gonna add to what you
we
were
can
saying
move
real
on.
quick if I can.
Go for it.
I was just gonna say during NFT NYC last year, I did hear similar stories, Gigi, of like women feeling that way. I also think like what's interesting, so like I'm originally from, uh, I was born and raised in Texas, and I moved to New York back in 2014. And I think what's really interesting too is like the way, like in Texas, like I had tons of guy friends that would like never hit on me or ever think like sexually of me. Like we're just friends, and they respect me as like a human being to like think of me as more than that, you know? And so that's what I was really used to. And like we also like are, talk to everyone here, like very friendly. Um, but like in New York when I moved, that was like one of the biggest things for me of culture shock is like here I would talk to a dude at a bar and he wouldn't like think anything of it, right? Like he'd be like, oh, I'm having a conversation with this girl. When I moved up there, it was like, oh, like she's being nice to me, she's talking to me, this means like something. And I'm like, no, like I'm not trying to just like sleep with everyone that I'm talking to. And in fact, like it just made me realize like how different the like mental culture was, which was like really sad. I was like, wow, like that's really all you think of me. I can't just have a conversation with you. I'm just being, I'm not even flirting with you. This is not me flirting. This is me like being a normal human being and having a conversation. And so that's also something like I think about as we build like equality, and think about like women in NFTs or just like diversity and inclusion in general within this space is like there are so many nuances, cultural nuances too, of like this is truly a global community, right? And so like that's also why I think we have to continue always have these sorts of conversations because like there needs to be some sort of like consensus on like what is culturally appropriate across the entire world on like how to treat human beings. And in this case, we're talking about specifically women, but that's just like one like personal example of like from like even from Texas to New York, like the difference in like how I was treated as a woman. Obviously not in NFT capacity, just like going out or whatever, but it's something that I do think about. It's like the cultural nuances around the world are really different as it relates to diversity and inclusion. So how do we really drive like a central way to drive a healthy diversity and inclusion conversation that is all encompassing? I don't know if that's too much, but I do think about that a lot.
Izzy, I totally agree with you. I am hosting an event in March to celebrate women in this space. As you guys know, Women is International Women History Month. And because of that, I wanted to showcase the different type of women in this space and give us the stage that we need to have, right? And also be able to showcase the various things that we're doing in this space. So I want to invite all of you to look at my profile, look at the retweet that I just recently retweeted. I'm the founder of the organization called Black Women Blockchain Council. It was started in 2008, right after that Miami conference, where the speaker lineup was tilted, 90 something percent towards the male dominated species. And they ended up having their after party, I heard, at a strip club. And that caused a huge movement during that time where women across the globe decided, you know what, enough is enough. We need to start having support within our own community and also promote each other in this community. And through that movement, I also decided to create an avenue for Black women to also be promoted and supported, as well as to educate the Black community about this space. So I've been doing training throughout that time. But this year, what I really want to focus on is all women in this space. We need our own platforms, and the best time to do that is March. And I think having that type of discussion about the cultural differences and how to approach people, because we are in this global movement, this ecosystem we're building is with various people who are coming from different perspectives. And it's time to have that discussion. And I think a woman-led discussion during this event will be wonderful. We are looking for speakers right now. We're looking for NFT artists. We're looking for individuals who want to talk about NFTs. We're running the gambit here all the way to metaverse. We also want to have people experience the metaverse. And one thing that what we women do is we nurture, right? So we're using the opportunity to educate and onboard more women so that the world will know that we are involved and get a better understanding of what we're doing in this space. So I want to encourage all of you to support, to come on, and to be speakers and show your voices and your work. Thank you.
I love that. Do you want to pin that at the top? I know you sent people to your page, but maybe a top pin would be
Yes,
awesome for
thank you.
and I know myself and my business partner would love to be a speaker, so we can definitely talk offline.
Awesome. Thank
Is
you.
that an in-person event or just strictly online?
Sorry, I was about to tweet. So yeah, it's a virtual event. It's a month long. It will be live streamed, and it's a virtual event.
Thank you.
I love that.
Thank you.
As much as I love in real life events, I love that you are leveraging the power of the internet because we are a global community. And I think raising awareness is also raising the way that we reach others. And I really enjoy that you'll be live streaming it for people from all over the world to be able to join and listen to all the amazing women I know you will have there.
Thank you.
Of course. I know, Erica, you have your hand up. Hello, Erica.
Hi, thanks so much for having me up here. I'm just enjoying this conversation. So Cyber Bay, I definitely want to listen in to your event because I think that's amazing what you're doing. So thank you. Um, so I am a UX designer, and just being a woman in tech, there's definitely a shift, I would say, like going on right now because there was an in-person event and everybody was amazing. So I was really thankful for that. Everybody was respectful. So I can definitely see the shift in that. And then right now, I definitely want to get more women in tech, bring awareness to it. Um, yeah, so that's just a little bit about me. So I appreciate you having me up here.
Of course. No, thank you. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate anyone who joins the stage and feels comfortable enough to speak. And feel free to pin anything you're working on the top of the space as well.
Sure, thank you so much. And then I just have one more question. Where can I find, I guess, is there like a document with NFT events, or how do I find NFT events? Would that be on like Eventbrite?
That is a
So
great question. I'm starting to work on a source myself because I'm just finding out about them through Twitter. But maybe I know Women Times NFT. You maybe we're gonna say you have one.
yeah, on the Discord, I have, we have the events portion of the Discord where we put like local events that are coming up. But I have a calendar channel that I put up, and I mean, it's probably not all the events out there. It definitely isn't all the events out there, but like, let me pull it up real quick. I have, let's see, the Wild West of NFTs that's happening on the February 10th through the 13th in Jackson Hole. I've got East Denver on there. I've got South by Southwest, which I think is going to be huge for NFTs this year. I've got NFT Land on there, Edge of NFT, and it's just and like San Diego NFT Con, and then NFT NYC. So as I find out about different events that I think are, you know, like conferences and whatnot, I've been adding those to that calendar channel. It's not in depth, it just gives a basic, here's the dates and here's the name of it, and then you will have to go Google to find out more information, but at least I'm keeping a list of all the events that I know are coming up on there.
Oh, that's amazing. So much. I'm gonna definitely join your Discord. So I appreciate Crypto Tech Women and NFT Babes for having me up here.
Yes, we are happy you jumped on. I do want to jump in. I have to actually jump off this call. We talked and we are going to do another event maybe on Tuesday night if anybody's interested in rejoining us, doing a roundtable and talking more. I know this space is going to keep going, but I wanted to say it was great meeting everybody today, and I'm excited to continue the connections through future spaces.
Thank
Great
you,
meeting you.
Diana. Thank you so much for being a co-host.
See ya.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Bye. Yes, we need to go check out that event. And then for anyone here who will be at Ethereum Denver, let me know. I will be going. I know that Women DAO, I believe it's the name, they're going to be doing a meetup there as well. I'm not part of the DAO, but I will be creeping in to find more ladies in the space. So ladies, men, no binary, anyone who's going, DM me because I definitely want to meet more of you. And then if you're going by yourself like me, then now we're partners. Now we're Ethereum Denver buddies.
You said who? Women DAO is having a meetup?
Yes, I heard Women DAO is having a meetup of in
Awesome.
Ethereum Denver. Yeah. But also let me know if you're going to be doing anything because I'm up to meeting everyone. It's going to be my first time at Ethereum Denver and I've heard amazing things about it.
I'm going to try to do a meetup. I already have a crew of probably 10 people, um, pretty much all women that are going to be out there. So I mean that's a good base start to get a meetup going. How do I find where Women DAO is on Twitter?
I will send it to you. I know their community is in Telegram, so I'll send it to you.
Oh, I see. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Shiny, I see you have your hand up. Hi.
Hi, thank you so much for letting me up. And first of all, I just wanted to thank you so much for hosting this space. I think it's a huge part of the change we're talking about, just to have a safe space for everyone to share their concerns, their ideas. Honestly, it's just been incredible. And I have a huge list of things that really resonated with me in front of me, following your advice to write things down so I don't forget. Um, First of all, I think I know Cyber Bay and Izzy both mentioned some amazing events and initiatives about spreading blockchain knowledge among women and empowering them. So I would love for you guys, or I'll reach out to you. Would love to be a part of this in any shape or form. And I know we're talking about female artists not being represented in this space, but I think it's also an issue of female collectors not being represented in this space. And I think it's something for all of us to think about. How can we spread the knowledge further? I was actually hosting another space a few days back, and we are discussing how Instagram, for example, is a female-dominated platform, and there no one really knows about NFTs. I was looking at stats. Even big platforms like Super Rare Foundation, they have like only 3% of their clientele coming from Instagram. So I think that's a big platform where we can educate women as well and onboard more people, and as well on our individual level to onboard our friends and our family members. And actually, sorry, I didn't even introduce myself. My name is Maria. I'm the founder of Shiny. It's a NFT boutique based in Dubai. And right now we're working on this big collection called Everyday Goddesses. Actually, a small collection, but a big project for us. It's going to be launched in March because again, Female History Month, and 8th of March is International Women's Day. So I would love to, again, maybe hear from all of you guys if you want to collaborate in any shape or form, maybe host more spaces, and I'll definitely reach out to you. And one thing I also loved what you guys said was about there's no being competition in the space. And I agree with this so much. And I think generally in NFTs, there's no competition. It's not like you or I win. I think people just get so excited about collectibles, and there's kind of no limit. You want to get more and more of them, so there's definitely no competition. And I think it's amazing, and it's been amazing seeing how other projects been supporting female artists. So, and people in this space in general, and women in this space in particular, are so supportive and elevating, and in some ways selfless. They just want to spread knowledge and support other artists, not just kind of gatekeep and keep the victories to themselves. So I love that, and we are already doing the same thing with Shiny, and I think it's all of our responsibility to just kind of pass it on and support each other. And I loved what you were saying, I think, Women in Crypto, about growing the community organically. So, less shilling and more genuine community building, genuine spaces exactly like this one. Um, yeah, I have actually so many thoughts and so many things that resonated with me, trying to gather them all. Right, about the events as well. So I had a similar experience too, attending my first really big crypto event here in Dubai. It was massive, and my business partner was actually on a trip, so I ended up going alone. And I completely can relate to what you were saying. It's super intimidating, even if you feel like you do have the knowledge and the expertise to share something. It's completely terrifying seeing that you're one of the few females in the room to come up and introduce yourself, especially when you represent a company. You cannot just sit and watch and listen. You have to do things for your business, but it feels really intimidating. But again, what you're saying, hosting more spaces like that and making sure that we're more represented in future conferences is key. And I think we'll be all contributing to this. And again, I wanted to thank each one of you. And I think the change that we're making right now is amazing. All of you guys are pioneers. And if you have anything, any ideas or anything I can help you with, please reach out. I'm just a DM away. And yeah, it was been amazing. Thank you so much for hosting the space.
Thank you for joining the stage and feeling comfortable to speak. I know we have a lot of people that requested, and I will be putting as many of you as I can to the stage. But thank you so much. Thank you for pinning your tweet up there. The goddesses look amazing. And so everyone, please go check them out. And yes, 100% about increasing the range of women in the spaces.
I pinned that. I love the art so much.
Thank you so much. I saw. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think one big thing to note is that we have seen such an amazing push with women projects this past week, and I think it's been building up to what it is, and it's definitely not a competition. There's no other project or community that competes with yours. It should be a collaboration. There's no reason why the growth and success of another project should make you feel like discouraged or make you feel like you're not going to do well, because actually them being successful just means that yours is next. And I think that one main thing that we can do is encourage each other to collaborate. So for me with CryptoTechWomen, I am collaborating with other women projects to give them whitelists for their members, because it's not about one member just being in one community. It's about as a group and as a collective building value with each other. So yeah, just wanted to add that.
Can I add one thing to what you were saying? Because I agree, is we're not out here being like, oh, there's like too many men-led projects out there. Like, you're not going to make it. Like, there's too many. Like, no one's counting them. Like, we don't need to do like, I think there's this like false narrative of, or like perception that like why are we counting women-led projects? Like, why can't we just exist? Why can't we just like have a million exist? Just like men do. Like, nobody's like counting theirs, So don't let, that bog you down, and exactly that. Like, we aren't in competition. We can simply like just exist and be successful. And like, I support many women-led projects. You know what I mean? I'm not just like, I found my woman-led project and that's it, and that's the only one that can exist. You know what I mean? So I think like as community builders or people building projects or putting their art out there, it's like maybe take that into account, right? It's like, okay, let's take. I know that's something that we're all sort of unlearning from, old ways of thinking, and it can become like a little bit of anxiety, but it's like, let's let that go, like we can all exist, and one person can support me and then they can also support 30 other projects if they want to, and I can still be successful. So that's just like one thing that just cracks me up. I'm like, we're not counting their projects. Why are they counting ours? It's annoying.
No, exactly. I think actually with females in the space, I haven't, or at least from what I've seen so far, everyone is so supportive and so encouraging. And I haven't seen a single female-led project that are like, don't look at them, look at us. If anything, I actually heard from some, I mean, obviously not everyone, but some male spaces saying that like, oh, it's just a trend. There's so many of them now. And I've been trying to explain that, of course it is, because we're so underrepresented. So that's what happens when you're underrepresented. That's why there's so many right now. And actually, we need more and more and more as we onboard more female collectors too.
Also,
Yeah,
like, we're not a trend. We're not a trend.
exactly,
Trends
exactly,
come and go. Like, we're just
exactly,
here. We're just existing. So let's
exactly.
not call us a trend either. Like I just feel like it's like, let's not make it this like outlier. Like, we are not outliers. Why can't we just also exist? And why do like men or non-women led projects, let's say, have this automatic assumption that they can just succeed, right? Even if there's like a saturated pool
Exactly.
or
And they're so
saturated market, but there's not that automatic assumption for us. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I think my
No,
thing
no,
got
they're
so loud.
so wrong. And I heard this in a lot of spaces as well when they're saying it's a trend. And I think none of us want it to be a trend. So it's our mission, our job to make it a long-term sustainable change, not a trend. Yeah,
Yeah,
completely.
like we're just like not a trend. I'm just claiming it right now. Like, let's not try. We just are not. We're just not. That's it. Point blank. Done.
I agree with both of you. I don't see, if they want to make it a trend and they want to say the word trend just to boost more people to buy, go ahead. But this space is recorded, and as you can see, there's a lot of people here that agree that, yeah, women are not a trend. We are half of the world's population, if anything. And just because, we are new to the space, it does not mean that we're going anywhere. And the projects that I've seen from women and the ones that I support have as big of a utility or maybe even more than the projects I see out there that get sold out with no roadmap and no utility. And yes, men have the majority of the space, and that's why we need you all to support us too, because we are creating meaningful projects and we want to add value. So please don't label us. And I know Blue Chimp, you might be here like, oh my God, I'm on the hot seat, but we support you a lot, and I really love your initiative to bring more women in the space.
Yeah, you know that we're 1000% behind you. We are on board, and I think our all of our views align 100% here. Women are definitely not a trend. Women are here to stay, and that's why we wanted to take Women's Week and make it more permanent, and open our floor, our stage, so to speak, to women, ongoing, and forever. So again, if we're going to build you know um, a really really um, a space with substance, and a well-rounded space, we have to everybody has to be on board with opening the doors for everybody. And I think it's just obvious. I know Marquise up here. She was on our chimp tank on Wednesday. She's been you know a big powerful impact and kind of opening the doors, bringing a lot of women into our space, and kind of opening our eyes a little bit. So keep doing what you're doing. I think if all week we our kind of our eyes were kind of opened all week, and we heard stats, we heard from women in the space, and I'll tell you what, I'm super pumped. Like, let's fucking go. I'm ready to to keep this going and to keep building with men, women, youth, everybody in the space in a positive direction, and making it a safe space for everybody to onboard. And in my opinion, after being here today, the women in this space or coming into this space are in very good hands, and I'm very proud to see you all just putting in the work that you're putting in, and you have blue chimp support 1000%. And I just wanted to, before I go, I have another call. I'm at 10, but I'll stay here until I make kind of talk about this PFP that I'm wearing now. So all week I was jumping into different um, shill spaces where women artists, where I think Crypto Girls holds a space, and I jumped into her space. Grandma from Loaded Big Potato has a very small space, but she's highlighting different creators and some women. So I was in a space, and I met a gal named Kelly, and Kelly was talking about what it's like to be a single mother in the space, and her child has autism, really bad autism, where she has a real tough time as a young single mother. And she draws and makes art and paints, and I was just listening, and I think more men, if you're here and you're a man, just sit back and listen sometimes. And I was so inspired by hearing her talk about her art and some of her real life things that she goes through as a woman in the space. I think I bought one of her first pieces, which we highlighted on our official Blue Chimp page. Every day we highlighted a different women-led project, a woman artist. Um, but this specific piece really hit me pretty deep. Kind of realizing that women do have struggles in life, and so do men. But women sometimes have different struggles, being the cornerstone of families, and a lot of women don't have husbands, and they're kind of making it on their own, and it just kind of hit me hard. So I think that anytime we can open the stage to women in this space, listen and learn about their art, and go ape in, go buy it. It could change a life, and it could change more than one life. So I would highly encourage everybody here, man or woman, please, support women in the space, buy their art. It's not a trend. You never know. I'm gonna put this piece in my vault, and hopefully in a couple of years they're priceless. And I feel like that has the potential to be priceless. So everybody, keep up the great work, and thank you so much, Crypto Tech. Well done today, and thank you so much for having me up here. I feel very honored to be your guest today. So thank you, everybody, and please, if you guys, if you have a project and you need some eyeballs, um, you know, please throw your name in the hat for Chimp Tank. We'll get you scheduled. We'll give you a full hour for your project to come up and let everybody see what you're doing, and um, you know, uh, where your group or your project is headed on the long term. So we need some women-led projects in the super community. So we're eager to make a deal with some women-led projects to build a space, a safe space for everybody, something for everyone, and that's super pumped, everybody. So thank you so much again, Crypto Tech.
Of course, thank you. And you're our first male speaker ever on our stage. And then for any other male here, our or male or non-binary, our Sunday spaces will be for everyone. So if you want to add something to the conversation, DM me. We'd love to have you. And thank you, Blue Chimp.
Thank you again, Crypto. We'll see y'all here, there, in the air, and keep up the great work. Keep kicking ass.
Yes, thank you. Issy, do you have an announcement to make?
Yes, I do have to head out here. I'm so glad I was able to join for like 2 hours versus like the 30 minutes I was able to join earlier this week. This has been such a fun conversation. I always love being a part of these and getting to know everyone and meeting new people and hearing different perspectives and hearing all of the awesome stuff everyone's working on. So thank you for having me and for hosting these spaces.
No, thank you. And I'm looking forward to collaborating with you. Everyone, go check out Issy, go check out Women in NFTs, go check out Blue Chimp. Look at the tweets that we have pinned here. And yes, Issy, anytime you want to join me, I would be more than happy to have you here.
Thank you. I hope you guys have a good rest
Have a
of the
great day.
day.
And that being
Bye.
said, I'm probably gonna have to take off too. I have to get ready for my photo shoot. So
Ooh.
yeah.
Okay, go ahead. I'm gonna open the floor now.
Thank you so much.
But Tracy, thank you for joining. And yes, if anyone is in the Las Vegas area, or if you're not, but maybe you'll be to one of like the signature states here, join Tracy's Discord, Women Times NFT, where she will be posting all about like upcoming events. And I've seen her events. I definitely recommend it.
Thank you so much. Thank you for hosting these spaces. Have a
Of
wonderful day.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. I'm gonna accept the request that we have here, and then we'll do one quick round. So everyone, if you could please raise your hand, and then we'll be wrapping up this space. But hello, Sandy. How's it going?
Hello, everyone. Bonjour, buenos dias, salam alaikum to all the beautiful ladies from all around the world. My name is Sandy Toes. I came here today because Womanverse, who's in the audience, is a collection about uplifting women in our space. Mariella runs Women's Verse, and every Friday we hold a space from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. California time, where women speakers come and tell us about their project. And if they have questions, I translate from Farsi into English. Mariella translates from Spanish into English, therefore providing a really safe space for women who may not feel confident in their English. And the space is getting kind of cool because we had a couple of whales in there buying NFTs this week for the first time. They have taken notice of us. So, a lot of the women might have mental illness or shyness, and they just can't get up and speak. So, this is what we do on Fridays. And my project is raising awareness for a rare genetic disease that affects the spinal cord. It has a very long, complicated name, but it's GM1. So, I've pinned up there for curegm1.org. When I started my project, I gave 100% of everything I sold to that organization. And going forward, I do 20% of what I make. And there's a couple of more things I just want to say real quick is I am older in this space. I am over 50 years old. So a lot of the things you were speaking about, I understand the struggles, the nightclubs, the bars, where you're trying to be serious. But you know what? Let me show you the flip side of that. So, because I'm over 50 and these guys aren't actually hitting on me and they talk to me, it's like for real. And guess what? I can go chasing after them. I've gone into music spaces where the bro, buddy, everyone's talking over each other. And even though like the host allowed me to speak and gave me the mic, they were all still talking over each other. And that is so intimidating. But I spoke up and demanded that they give me 30 seconds of their time. And they did. They gave me 10 minutes. They all supported me. No one was anti woman. I just believe, aside from the toxic stuff, we have different communication styles, right? Men can beat each other up and then they'll go have a beer the next day after it's all over. Whereas women, we will just sit there and think about every word. Anyway, I don't want to get off topic, but we need to recognize that a lot of this is different communication styles and it's become more evident. And by the way, I have already left one DM group. There were some top artists who made a group, this chat group where we support and retweet, but the man running this space was doing censorship and he was really hardcore. And I just decided it wasn't worth it for me to be supported by this kind of toxic stuff. And guess what happened? I just politely told them I am leaving this thing. It's not working for me, and good luck to all of you. And after I left, the next day, things got crazy, and six more people walked out of that space. And we created our own space where we support and retweet each other. And we don't have censorship in that space. We don't say violent stuff, but there were things we weren't allowed to post about, like Pepes. And Pepes represent democracy for some people, and they represent racism for some people. And I think it's the context of the art that's important. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you for this space. So I love that this is happening. I want to come to all your meetings and I want to participate. And I've been invited to be part of this big collectors group where they're doing some amazing things. And once I find out about that, I'm going to tell you guys. And one more thing, Hollywood has come and asked me to do a project with them. They haven't actually given me money or signed up, but they've called me and they're serious. Time Magazine, the owner of Time Magazine, bought an NFT from Stacy. I went to her after, the after party, and we got to talk. Oh, that was just so good and delicious to hear her be uplifted by a very important, powerful man in the world. So, you guys, for the first time, and by the way, I'm from Iran. I have relatives, aunts who were tortured and killed. Okay. So I come from a place of a lot of suffering and pain, but I've come to America, United States, and I feel for the first time things are changing for women. I feel for the first time this is really happening. We are getting our financial freedom and we are supporting each other. And I'm so happy to be here. And thank you so much. I'm going to give up the mic now.
Thank you for that. Feel free to pin up that space that you mentioned that you do. I definitely want others to be able to join. I know we have so many creators in this space that are definitely looking for ways to get their art out there. So definitely check Sandy out. And thank you so much for joining the stage and sharing that, Sandy.
Thank you very much. And merci, mutashakkiran, and have a great day, everyone.
Thank you, you too. Marquis, thank you for being on the stage.
Thank you for having me. And Crypto Tech, I will be in Colorado. We will, so I would definitely love to connect and hang out. I will be there with my entire family, so it should be fun. But I did, I so enjoyed the space, and everything you guys touched on was spot on. So I'm that type of girl that never played with girls because girls were dumb and catty and I always resonated with the boys and hung out with the boys. And that's kind of why I really hung out and found my tribe with the Blue Chimp. There's so many amazing women that I've connected with in there. But coming into these spaces and listening to the stories is where it's at. So when they say, do your homework, we can choose who we want to let into our circle, who we want to link arms with, and kind of create this space that we want. And I am in this space because of my daughter. I want her to have this space be a safe place. And, what happens when you get a bunch of alpha women? Like, we take over. So I love that the women or the men in here, a lot of them are embracing and encouraging and supporting. And those are the ones I choose to align myself with because I have a super supportive husband. He is my biggest cheerleader, and I love being able to, just kind of come in and connect And I have messaged a couple of you, and I would love to, get to go through here and meet some more of you.
Thank you so much for that. And yes, I love to hear more about everything that you have going on. Would love to meet up in Ethereum Denver. Would love to meet up with everyone. And I'm so excited. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you feeling comfortable enough to joining the stage and speaking with us and sharing that. Thank you.
Can I just add one quick thing? There is a very important statistic everyone needs to be reminded about. In 2007, there were more babies born to single moms than married moms. That's the year I had my son. And these moms were not teenagers who could not afford things and were on welfare. They were educated, college educated women who, for one reason or another, had not been able to find a relationship and had just decided to go for it and become a mom. That happened in 2007, ladies. I am part of that year. And numbers are important, right? They tell us what's happening. Thank you.
Can I quickly say something to Sandy?
Yeah,
And then
and
I'm
I was
gonna
gonna
go
say
back. I'm gonna go back to
yeah, go
listening
ahead.
mode, but I quickly wanted to come up and say to Sandy that personally, I don't think it's okay you telling the story about that woman group. I think it's it's not that respectful to do that. And if you look up Rare Pepe and what it stands for, it comes from racism and a story of racism. And I think it should be respected if people feel uncomfortable when people post those kind of things. I personally do use Pepe emoji because even though that I know where it comes from, I'm doing it conscious because I do understand that for some people it's not fun. But I don't personally have a problem with it. Just like the whole Bored Ape thing, some people find uncomfortable, others don't. But if people find something racist and it makes them uncomfortable or it reminds them of something, I think it should be respected. And that's what I wanted to say. Thanks for giving me the stage.
Thank you, Zoe. I appreciate what you said. And if I can just say quickly to that, it was not a women's space that I left, it was a man's space. And that's exactly what I did. I respected their space and said that censorship is not comfortable for me, but I respect your space and I'm leaving. I didn't name the names of who they were. I just said that I felt comfortable leaving a space that was making me uncomfortable. I didn't fight with anyone, and clearly there were others who felt the same way because Pepe represents freedom for people in Hong Kong and for Iran. So that is my background, and I understand it's racism and Nazism for a lot because that it has been stolen. So the meme got stolen. And it got manipulated. So this is the thing that I want people to see. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you, Zoe, for also, having your voice heard and saying your part of your views. I think it's important for everyone to be able to express themselves, and we won't all have the same outlook or point of view in things. And I do think it's important for others to try to educate like their point of view and how you see something. So thank you, Sandy and Zoe, both for sharing that. I see we have one more hand up. The Secret Society. Hello.
Hi there, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. My name is George. I'm the husband of an NFT creator. So my wife has created the Secret Society Ring Club at 999 rings on the NFT blockchain. And I wanted to share, so I listened carefully and I really appreciate everyone's story. And I wanted to share a story that happened to my wife. So when she created these NFTs and started tweeting about that and also joined Discord channels, especially in channels and spaces with a lot of young men, there was a lot of negativity that she encountered. And it basically reached a point where she almost gave up and said like, yeah, this is too toxic for me. I don't need to do this. And then initially I thought she's exaggerating, right? So and then I checked the messages, and they were really toxic and ad hominem. And so so basically I told my wife like, look, maybe these kind of people are not the ones you want to surround yourself with. Maybe you should join more spaces with women. And she started doing that, and it was a completely 180 degrees change in her life. Like that was 160 degrees change in her life. It was so much better to engage with other women and to support each other. And I don't know where this toxic masculinity, especially in NFT spaces, comes from, but there's a lot of negativity. And so this is basically it. I really appreciate what you guys are doing. So keep doing that. Please have spaces for women, safe spaces for women, where they can share their work. Thank you very much.
Definitely. And on Wednesdays at 8 a.m. PST, we have a space that anyone can listen to, but our panel is only female. And I'm sorry to hear that that happened to your wife. I definitely think there are some bros in the space that do not make it comfortable for women to be there, but
100%.
thankfully, we have so many women now in the space, and we have so many women groups, and we have women in NFTs, we have women times NFTs here, CryptoTechWomen, Fear Society. There's so many women communities now that are not only for women, but we do embrace women. So tell your wife that we're here for her.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you. And then, hello, KW Williams, how are you?
I'm very good. Thank you so much for allowing me this time. And hello to each and every one of you ladies. Crypto Tech Women, you're doing an amazing job. I really appreciate listening in and learning. It's been only uh, 50 days for me in the crypto space as a newbie. However, I've been in business for a number of years in real estate and in media tech. And so coming into the space, I was really appreciative of some of the ladies who sort of just took me in and almost with a bottle and diapers welcomed me into the crypto space. Uh, I have real estate projects from Vegas to Miami. We're based in DC, our headquarters, and we have a media studio in the DC area, and we work directly in LA. So we're very active in the media real estate space, and coming in new are connecting the dots with our new Hollywood Meta Club to create partnerships, and specifically with ladies. Our first event, and I already gave you a DM, Miss Crypto Tech, we'll be acknowledging at our new Hollywood awards in Miami coming up in March, which is, by the way, the month of women. I'm sure everyone knows that that's Women's Month. We're going to be acknowledging ladies at that time at our new Hollywood Awards. But prior to that, our new partner, um, who you can look at, is Final Frontier Star Atlas. They are starting next Sunday, a whole week of Women's Week with a very nice magazine. You'll see us eventually in that. Again, we're new, but we're putting all our back engine and all the good stuff you do to build your DAO and white paper and, of course, token, New Hollywood token, all that good stuff. But we are leading out with women up front. My track record and background for doing this for years, this is not new to me. And both my real estate company as well as our media company, we were sort of being on a chopping block about 5 years ago as I kind of stuck my neck out there in Hollywood, promoting the female producers that we were working with. As a matter of fact, one who just got an Emmy working with uh, Jada Pinkett Smith on Red Table Talk. This young lady was a producer for me for 3 years and went on to work with the Smith family and other known, recognized folks there in Hollywood, but we created a media producing program just for women. And from 3 women to about 50 women, it kind of grew up and got a lot of attention. And right before the pandemic, we had to kind of shut some things down in our studio, our school, and that sort of thing about 2 years ago. But we kept the real estate going, and we're bringing back the media this year with our new Hollywood. So again, thank you so much for what you're doing. You can check out Final Frontier starting next Sunday. You can look up the Commander Ardo. He and I are partners, and there's some really unique things. I met him actually when he was speaking about empowering women and initially was misunderstood what he was saying because he was really gung-ho about bringing women to the forefront. But when you looked on his everything on their website, you didn't see any women. I told him after I met him, I said, probably not a good idea. You should have had a few women already integrated. And he explained that he being military background, who was serving and recently just recently now has become a veteran, but was serving over the last several years, right up to last year. When they started in, I believe it was September, it was some of his guys on the front line that he just started with, about 5 of them. So they just hit the ground running. 90 days in, but they're building a good track record. And of course, he went back and corrected the issue of not having women on the forefront, and he's made that crystal clear, and has done everything he could to bring that about. I told him that's the only way we could really partner. So, any case, with that said, I greatly appreciate the time you've given me. Thank you so kindly.
Thank you so much. And yes, I love that you are supporting the movement, you're supporting the women. Let me know if there's any way that CryptoTech Women can collaborate with you and with anyone here. We just want to raise awareness, raise the voice. And yeah, thank you. What is your name? Is your name Kevin? Maybe Kevin?
Yes, Kevin
Kevin.
Williams, KW. Yes. Uh,
Thank you, Kevin.
And I've already DM'd you, so you'll be not only getting a nomination for the awards event in Miami coming up in March, but also I will circle back with you on anything that we can do in collaboration. So thank you so kindly.
Thank you so much. That's so amazing. I'm eternally grateful and super excited. For anyone here, please make sure to join our community. We are announcing our mint date this week. It's coming up. I want you to be part of our community. I want you to be part of what we're building together. And then, if you don't know much about us, CryptoTechWomen was built to empower the women that are part of the Web3 community. To do that, we are raising awareness of the women that are part of the space. We're doing this currently by doing spaces, sharing the word of other projects that we love, that we want to hear from the founders. And then a big part of our mission is education. So after our mint, we will be building a boot camp for our token holders that will have like free access to this. This bootcamp could be Solidity. So I'm a software engineer. I think there's a lot of power in knowing how to code, but there will be also other topics included within this educational platform that we'll be doing. We also have a fund royalties club. So there's 15 tokens that will have a special trait. Those 15 holders will be added to a club that will share 30% of the royalties from second market sales. So that's going to be really fun as well. We'll be doing in real life events, donating to charities that support women in the Web3 space. So yes, definitely check us out. And then we have one last hand up before we finalize this stage. Hi, Meta Ruth, how are you?
Hey, thank you so much for having me. It's so funny being on Twitter after not being on Twitter for so long. And I'm so happy that I found, this space, crypto tech. I'm really a big clubhouser. And now that I have been utilizing Twitter, there's so much more communities on here, which is amazing, which I'm super excited to keep attending these rooms. So it's kind of funny. So I pretty much am a designer and a builder, more of architectural buildings, I guess you could say, and real estate. My background is in insurance. I own a solar company, so I do a lot of sales as far as solar panels with brand new roofs. And a lot of my work is inspired by Manhattan and Brooklyn. Right now, I'm working on a project for one of my first customers, and he wants me to build a huge building in Manhattan. And I literally design the building brick by brick. I paint each and every single block. It's very tedious, I guess you can say, but I'm just really inspired by structures and dwellings because of my insurance background, because of my solar and roofing background. And I'm soon to be a real estate agent. I just passed my school exam with a 95 and taking my test this week. So I don't know. I don't know where I'm going to and how I'm going to monetize all of this. But I'm here to learn, and I'm just super excited that there's women, and a lot of my girlfriends in real life, well, this is real life, but a lot of my girlfriends, they don't even know what any of this is. You know what I'm saying? A lot of my girlfriends, they're like, "What are you doing? What is an NFT? What is Meta? What is this?" And I'm like, "Wow, I have a community where I could actually talk to other females that know what this is." And yeah, so thank you, and I definitely am so interested in that minting you're gonna have, and this boot camp sounds amazing. So just thank you all, and don't judge me. This is a work in progress for me. All right, thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you so much for joining the stage. It took me so long to be comfortable enough to join a stage as a speaker. So thank you so much for doing that. And I know you're in a journey to finding out how will you create value and add value to this space. And I definitely want to be part of your journey. So feel free to DM me. And then for all of your girlfriends out there that might not know what this space is, well, it's time to put your learning and teaching muscle to practice, and teaching them as you go. And I'm super excited for your journey. I see you're Puerto Rican. I'm Venezuelan, but I lived in Puerto Rico. So
Hey.
big props to my Latino family here. Looking forward to doing a Spanish space soon. I see you're also Italian. Io parlo anche l'italiano. I love languages. I love learning languages. But yes, I'm so excited for you. And yes, feel free to let me know if there's any way I can add value to you. And then for everyone here, I pinned one post from my girlfriend, ex Domina. She has a collection of very amazing and hot NFTs. Check them out. They're pinned. But going back to you, Meta Ruth, if you swipe left one time, or let me see, actually a few times, I will send you a post. So we're actually doing a free event to teach more new people into the web space how to create a wallet. So maybe that would be a great starter for your friends that don't know anything about the space, and introducing them into it.
Absolutely, I'm all there.
Let's see. I'm going to pin it up here. I'm going to be announcing the date of the event today. But definitely, if you're here, check out all the pinned posts. And yeah, thank you so much, Meta Ruth. I'm looking forward to your journey.
Thank you.
And then for our last speaker of today, hi, Womenverse. How are you?
Hi, darling. I'm talking from Caracas, Venezuela. So we are.
Oh,
Encantada de conocerte. My
un
name
placer.
is Mariela. I'm with Sandy in this project Woman Bears, and especially so glad to meet this space because what we need is 100 million spaces by women for women. So I'm so glad that you are doing this and also that you are Venezuelan. So happy and so happy for all the projects and following a lot of you. If not, please follow Woman Bears and I will follow you. We are open to collapse. We are open that you show there and show your work, your fears, and we are happy to help in tech in also about anything of the NFT. We are here to help. So great to meet you all. Thank you so much, and I would love to collab with you, CryptoTechWomen.
Of course, you said your name is Mariela?
Yes, Mariela.
Mariela, nice to meet you, Mariela. Thank you so much for being here. I'm actually really excited because I've met so many, and so many, it's a very small number, but if you know anything about Venezuela, we're going through a very rough patch right now. And we've been going through a very rough patch for years now. My family is in Venezuela, and they are my motivation to everything I do, to be able to support them and give them the life I would love to give them outside of Venezuela. And I get a little emotional, but Mariela, thank you so much. And I hope your family is doing well. And I support you fully. Let me know if there's any way I can support you. And, you know, to all my Latinos out there trying to get into the space and with limited knowledge of the English language, let me know any way I can support you. I'm, I'm willing to. I love my family. And yeah, and then
Hey,
that, yeah, go ahead.
we are your sisters, the Iranian sisters who can't even come here today because they don't even have internet. I am speaking for them. They are DMing me every day, telling me they hear you. We have oil. Iran and Venezuela should be the best countries in the world. That oil has cursed us. Our people have suffered for decades. For decades. I hear you. You are my sisters. I love you. And we are changing things. It is finally happening. We are coming together. I am in America. I have US dollars. I am buying your art. Every day I buy beautiful poetry, music from Cubanos, from you in Venezuela, from people in Africa. And you know what? There's no bank in the middle that says I cannot give you my Tezos or Ethereum or my Matic. This is the revolution. You're all warriors here. You're all beautiful. Hang in there. And I have had so many people tell me I was going to give up. I was going to give up. I buy a $2 piece of art and I get a million thank yous on Twitter because now they can go buy food and gasoline. This is happening. I'm sorry. I'm so emotional.
No, but I totally get where you're coming from. It's you know, it really hits different when you are, you know, in some way affiliated or passionate. Maybe you're from or you know someone from these countries that are so limited to what, you know, here in America we have. So thank you so much for sharing that, Sandy. And that just tells you that
Thank
art that
you.
you're buying is making a huge difference in someone's life. So
Thank
please
you.
don't stop.
And Sepide is in the audience. If you see Sepide, everyone follow her. She is like the powerhouse of the Iranian women and all Iranian artists in Iran. And you know what? She's not being appreciated. She's not uplifted. There are so many artists who've made it, and there are men, and they are not lifting up other artists, not even women. Sepide and I have been talking about this, you know, in our chats. I'm so glad she came to this space because she is in Iran and she is helping women artists there. Thank you.
Thank you to you all, and of course, we get all emotional, and but we are here to help each other. That's the important part, and we have to remember: be cooperative,
And we're
give
gonna have fun
knowledge,
too.
give
Mariella, you're
money,
right. We're gonna
give.
have fun too.
Oh, of course. Thank you so much, and I will DM you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. So sadly, this is the end of our space. Please join us next Wednesday at 8 a.m. PST. You will be see a post about this. Please join our community, introduce yourself, and then if there's anyone out there who wants to collab, who wants to talk, wants to do some educational content, let me know. For everyone here, this is the NFT Gigi. You can call me Gigi. And thank you so much. I'm so grateful for all of you, and I hope you have an amazing Sunday.